Right, so everybody, welcome back to a brand new lesson. Today we're going to be looking how we're going to control the flight on our wedges to see that we can hit the 3 shots that will get us round any golf course in the world. So let's get stuck into that lesson right now. Guys, if you are new to the channel, do remember to hit the subscribe button down below, turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss any future lessons to help you improve your golf. So 3 wedge flights that will help us get round any golf course in the world. Now, I honestly believe if you can hit these 3 shots, there isn't really a scenario out on the golf course that you wouldn't be able to put the ball within a makeable putt distance. And what we're talking about is hitting a high shot, a medium shot, and a low shot with the wedge. It might be with your 52, it might be with 58, it might be with pitching wedge, but with whatever wedge it is, the technique and the setup and how we actually apply the golf club to the golf ball is all very much the same. So what we need to do is understand basically how we're applying the sole of the club and the leading edge down into the ground, because when this changes how it interacts with the turf is going to actually alter the loft that we put on the club and put on the ball, so that then in turn alters the flight of the golf ball. And what we will see is that we'll have something back, something middle and something front. So let's take a look at how we would play this, what I would class the standard medium pitch shot. Okay, so looking at the standard pitch shot, what we want to try and do, for me I'm playing all these with a 52-degree wedge. What we want to be trying to do is always try and deliver pretty much to as close as possible 52 degrees on the wedge, because one of the things I would imagine that a lot of people find when they're out on the course, they're hitting wedge shots, one goes long, one comes short, one goes higher, one goes lower, and there's never really any consistency to what we actually apply to the golf ball. But if we can have these 3 points and aim to do the same thing each time, we're going to start to see that we get the consistency in flight, because that's what's going to help us judge the distance and also the rollout as we get into hitting these shots. So the medium pitch, what we would call. We've got the close-up camera there, and it relies a lot of how the ball is placed in our stance, where it's placed in our stance, and the shaft lean. So if we say there are videos on the channel for the pitching technique as well, if you do want to go and have a look at those, I'll link some up here. But for the medium shot, if we see now that both my feet are equidistant from the red cane here, and the ball, I'm just going to place it ever so slightly in front of centre there. So pretty much now when I place the club in behind the golf ball, the leading edge is pretty much running on the red cane there. From there then, what I don't want to be doing is either A, leaning the shaft back, because as we can see there, that changes the loft, and if I lean it too far forwards, it's taking loft off it. So what we want to do is pretty much have a very, very minimal amount of shaft lean just slightly in front there, because now that is giving me the true loft of the golf club. And then what I'm trying to do as I come back to impact, I make my golf swing, and as I come through, I shift my weight ever so slightly forwards. I'm trying to deliver this back to being in the same position now. I'm not trying to deliver it and see that we'll get a lot of handle lean, get a really steep shaft and get a lot of loft taken off the golf club. I'm looking, or vice versa even, sorry, I would not be trying to scoop it up and help the golf ball in the air, because as we can see there, there's a lot of loft on the club, and also it's going to alter how I interact with the turf. What we want to try and see with this standard pitch is when we deliver the shaft being pretty much neutral or just slightly leant forwards, the bounce of the club now just rides along the turf. We just feel like we're brushing it. We're not looking for a big hit down and a big gouging divot. We're just looking to bruise the turf and just brush it as we go through. So from that shot there, if I just clip one off, we've got that ball just fractionally in front. We've got the club now, leading edge in line with the cane, and the shaft just lent very much just slightly in front. And I like to almost think that my thumbs are pointing down at the golf ball as I go through this sort of shot. Then from there, try and deliver it back to the same position to see that I've got the true loft of the golf club. And in there, that was nicely clipped out, and a medium flight for me. I knew how far it was going to go. I have points in my swing that I'll get into in another video that I'll talk about controlling distance, but from there what I saw was the standard medium flight I would see from that standard shot. Let's move on to a low running shot now. So what we would see from the low running shot, we obviously, to get it lower, we need less loft, and we're expecting it to not carry as far and it actually to release a little bit up the green. Not every wedge that we hit has to be coming in spinning and trying to look like something we'd see on the tour. We want to actually sometimes get the ball running out towards the flag and try and actually control it a little bit better like a putt. So to do that, what we're going to have to do is change the loft on the face. We've got 52 there, and what we're going to have to try and see is that we now get a little less loft on it. So when we switch over to the other camera now, what we're going to do ever so slightly is place the ball a little bit back of centre. And when we do this now, what starts to happen is I place my hands pretty much back to where they were with the medium shot. We can see there's a bit more shaft lean on this now. So what that in turn does is I lean the shaft forward, it actually gets the leading edge closer to the ground as I put it in there. So this leading edge now becomes a little bit more in use, I'd like to call it, and it's going to be a little bit more involved as we come through. So we've got to be aware of that. We're going to start to take a little bit more of a divot. We're still aiming not to take the big gouging divot, but one thing we've got to try and do is not feel that we're just hitting down into it. We want to see that we carry on and turn to allow the club to get through the turf and see that that less loft would deliver a slightly lower flight. So for this one, again, feet equidistant from the red cane. Then the ball now is one ball behind the red cane. I place the club in and lean my hands pretty much back to where I was for the medium flight. And like I say, straight away the club looks a lot less lofted to me. And I'm going to try and again deliver this back to the same address position in terms of my shaft lean and the loft. That's going to allow it to come out lower and get a little bit more run on it. I'll see a flatter flight, but I've got to keep the body turning to allow the club to get through the turf. So as we're here, set up, that little bit of pressure towards the lead foot. Same feeling now, same length of swing, it'll pitch a little bit lower but run out. And as with that, it almost looks like a bit more of abbreviated finishes as well as I go through it. And that allows me just to get it low, and then that one had a little bit of a skip up the bank and off it went towards the target. Okay, so third and final, the one that we all probably want to be playing when we're out there. It impresses our mates, the one with a little bit of spin on it. When we get it up a little bit higher, it has that one height, maybe a little bit of pullback, but generally stops very quickly when it hits the ground. So obviously I would imagine now you've got an idea of what's happening here. So what we should see is that we're thinking we're going to put the ball a little bit further up our stance, and we're going to almost get a little bit of negative shaft lean away from the target to see that we're increasing the loft. Back in the day, the big thing with coaching was that before flight scopes, trackmans and things came along, to spin the golf ball, you were taught to get it in the back of your stance and hit down on it. That isn't the case. We know through science now and all the research that we need a lot of friction to happen between the ball and the club face. So if you're going to play this shot, you need clean grooves and you need a premium golf ball to get the most spin you can. But what we need to do is actually feel that we under release it to allow the ball to actually have a lot of time on the golf club face to get the spin. So looking at the setup again, feet equidistance from the red cane here. Then from there we're going to place the ball a little bit forwards. And some people might think is this is scooping, but it's not, because I keep my sternum moving forwards, and what I'm going to talk about the release, we're not scooping, so don't get confused by this. From here now, as I place the club in and almost lean my hands back to again where they were for the standard pitch shot, as we see that one, it now looks a lot more lofted. When we have standard, low and then high, you can see the loft on here. And what I'm really going to try and feel like is that the back of the bounce here is really gliding and letting the face slide under the golf ball as I go through this shot. So again, same setup in terms of feet distance from the cane, ball forwards and that shaft lean hardly having anything. And if you say, for me personally, I almost feel like I'm leaning it back, and then as I come through I want to feel like I'm letting the face slide underneath the golf ball. So I'd be here, and again I've got to feel that I keep turning and keep that weight forwards for me to allow the club to get underneath the golf ball and just slip underneath it. And again, speed is going to be key as well to generate a little bit more club head speed and a little bit more friction. But what we should see from this one it wouldn't travel as far. We'd get it up high in the air and it would stop quickly when it lands on the ground. So feet equidistant, ball now forwards of centre, almost nearly in line with the lead heel. Club almost feeling slightly laid back, and then let the face slide under, feel that I'm almost showing the grooves up to the sky as I'm coming through and having a nice wide finish here. So let's go through this. Nice one. And there, that's almost double the height of the standard one and almost 3 times the height, and it's even coming zipping back off the bank there now as I've hit that one. So 3 ball positions, 3 leans of the shaft, and we're going to see that we can change the flight of the ball and we can start to hit any shot that will get us around any golf course in the world. So guys, I hope you've liked this lesson today, and I hope it's cleared up a few things of how we know we play the spinny shot or the low running one or the normal one. Give it a go when you're down at your local driving range or at your golf course and see if that you can start to master those with at least one wedge, and then try it with the others. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson this week. If you have, do hit the like button down below for me. Also remember to subscribe, turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss any future lessons to improve your game. And also if you do want to come see me at Trafford Golf Centre, links in the information down below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lesson.